Alright, Brush Monkeys, we're back, and this week we're continuing our dive into the 1980 Grenadier box set of Wizards, and we're continuing with this little guy here. He is marked as an Illusionist in the 1980 box, and a Cleric in the 1983 box, the Dragon Lords box. And because of that little kind of kung fu hand sign he's doing and this cobra on his base, I get kind of an Eastern vibe off this guy. So I'm doing him a little differently than the others. You'll notice I don't have any texture paste on his base. I'm going to do his base with Armageddon Dust, a wash of Agrax Earthshade, and then a dry brush of Tyrant Skull to kind of give him a little bit of a desert base. Other than that, he's mostly in contrast paint, so it's going to be another really quick paint. I got Dark Oath Flesh for his skin, Flesh Terror's Red for the robes, which you know I'm a big fan of that, Snakebite Leather, and Skeleton Horde for the snake there. Hoping I can get some nice detail work out of him. I was going to do the little thing on the back of the Cobra, but the robe's covering it up. His chain there is going to be Balthazar gold layered in old gold, possibly a light dry brush of Golden Griffin on that. And yeah, so he's going to be another quick paint. So let's get started on him. Alright, I'm going to start with the skin, and then we'll come back and take a look at him and see how he's done. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, I've made some progress, so it's update time. As you can see, I got the skin done, his hair done, and his snake and his shoes done. And I realized as I was painting this guy that he's actually wearing kind of an outer robe here, which is all this flowy stuff. And then he's got this inner robe that he's wearing too. And while I wanted the whole robe to be red, I was going to use Flesh Terror's Red, because I'm a big fan of that. I've decided to go with Blood Angel's Red for the inner robe, and then Flesh Terror's Red for this outer robe. So we're going to try that out. Also, because he's got a little bit of the base that shows between him and the snake, and just around the snake here, that's not going to be entirely covered up with the Armageddon Dust, so I'm going to paint in a little Agaros Dunes in there to kind of cover up the fact that I don't have texture paste on that part. So these are the kind of things that you plan for, but then stuff comes up and you got to make choices on the fly. Also, I think it's kind of interesting that despite being kind of an Eastern style cleric and coming out in '83, he kind of looks like Pope John Paul II a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause here and do the red robes, and then we'll come back and take a look at them. Alright, see you soon. Alright, made some more progress on our boy, so time to update. As you can see, I did the inner robes in the Blood Angel's Red, did the outer robes in the Flesh Terror's Red, and it's a subtle difference, but it looks really nice. And I think that Flesh Terror's Red is going to dry darker than it looks right now, and it'll be more of a difference once that happens. I still have his chains to paint. He's got a chain around his neck and then some down here and some trim on his robe there. I also painted the Agaros Dunes on the base and painted all around the base and base band just to give it a baseline. Like I said, most of that will be covered by the texture paint, the Armageddon Dust texture, and Agrax Earthshade, and then Tyrant Skull dry. And then I've got this Reaper Uniform Brown for the base band. I think it's going to look really nice. But as you can see, he's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break and let that Flesh Terror's Red dry, because that's still pretty wet in some of those folds. And take a break and let that dry, and then we'll come back and start on the basing. Or start on his chains, sorry. Start on metallics. So I will see you in a little bit. Alright, bye. Alright, Brush Monkeys, we're back. As you can see, I've got the gold chains, whatnot, painted on the guy. and he's looking pretty spiff. I also got his base textured up with the Armageddon Dust. I'm almost out of this stuff. I hope this isn't one of those texture paints that they stopped making. I'm kind of afraid it is. But so it's going to take a little while for that to dry. It's still wet, so I'm going to take a break and let that dry. And then I'll do the Agrax Earthshade and paint the base band. So there's not a whole lot left to do on this guy, but he's coming along pretty well. I really like how he's turning out. I think he looks pretty spiff. So I'm going to pause here and let that dry, and then when we come back, we'll do the shade wash on the base, and then when that dries, we'll dry brush it and do the base band. Then you'll be done. All right, see you soon. Bye. And there we are, Brush Monkeys, our finished Illusionist slash Magician. Excuse me, Illusionist slash Cleric from the Grenadier 1980 box set 2001 Magic Users and Illusionists. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. I went ahead and put a little tuft on his base just to give a little added interest. But I think he came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with him. So thank you for watching, and next week we will continue our series with another Magic User. So I will see you guys next week. Bye. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom from Flying Monkey Studios here. If you like what you see, click like down below. If you want to be notified when new videos come out, click subscribe. And in the meantime, if you want to see how to add one of the miniatures that we've painted on this channel to your own collection, check out our Instagram, Tumblr, and Patreon sites. If you want to support us in doing what we do, check out my Patreon site, check out my merch store at storefrontier.com/flymonkeystudios. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff there. Go check that out. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.